For an example, will you think of one of them? It doesn't matter. And in the meantime, these cards, your hand naturally drops to your side and turns over. Okay, a card has been thought of. These cards go back underneath, and you're ready to go into whatever your own presentation of the mental efforts of reading minds may be. I've got a nice break here between the truly face-down cards and this great big bank of face-up cards hidden by the card I reversed. I cut the cards there, and I weave this lot near my side, this side of the pack, and I'll explain the reason for that but a wee bit later. Push them in to about there, and then, plunger principle, just slide the whole lot down so they come out at the near end. So there's no sort of effort or diagonal business of this. It's quite easy to do, and your left hand, your left palm, is covering the projection. And then I talk about how I can't find the cards with my hands, but I think I might find them with my fingertips. So this is where I put the cards behind my back so that my mind doesn't interfere with my fingertips. And what happens behind my back is this. I push these cards in, turning them. My right forefinger pushes against the side so that they've gone in a bit diagonally. Then I square them up at the end that is nearest to my body. Then I turn round the card which I turned round under cover at the very beginning of the trick. Now I turn the cards end for end, not over, but just end for end, and then I do a pressure fan. Now I'm ready. End result, plain cards showing on this side, the cards, the bank from which the card might have been thought of, on the other side. But they don't see the other side. And you ask what the card was.
King of Hearts.
King of Hearts. And now I can see it, and I simply separate the pack at that place. I can see all the other cards which are turned round, but they don't see them. End of trick. Now, the problem in this trick is what you do next. And 9 times out of 10, I do nothing next. I do it as a single card trick among others. I wouldn't follow it with other card tricks. There are 2 problems with following on. One is that you've got a deck which is boxed, half up, half face down. And the other is, I'm not a strong presenter, but that is a strong effect. And in the hands of a strong presenter, can you follow it anyway? So this is what I've been thinking of lately. I can't follow it with a trick that I do myself, but I've been talking about finding cards by touch behind my back. So this is the kind of thing that I'd like to go into. And now I'll pretend that I've just finished the trick and that I'm carrying on. You know, it's funny, sometimes your fingers can do things that your mind can't do. You might have that ability yourself without doing. Do you mind if I try an experiment? I'll take some red cards and some black cards. I think that should be enough. And let's see, I think that'll do. Now, you've seen this trick before, but this is under a different guise. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put 2 cards down. I know what they are, you don't. I want you to think red. Tap these 2 cards with your fingers like that, thinking red, 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 red. And you decide when to stop. There, okay. But not on that one. Okay. Would you like to try this as well?
Certainly.
Just tap them and think red, and stop when you think you might have a red. Don't try to make a conscious decision. You think this one?
Yes.
It's the fingertips rather than anything else. You can have another go. Just tap red, 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 red. That one. Okay. And one more from you. That one? Not this one?
No.
Right. Well, the ones that you haven't taken, have a look at those and see how you've done. But by transferring it to a success of theirs instead of a success of yours, I think you've got something that could be a follow-up. And also, you can now bring a different pack out of your pocket. Now, if when you originally did the brainweave weave, you wove the smaller packet towards the face of the cards, or where the faces should have been, then when you come to the end of the trick, you'll find that at the face you've got quite a bank of cards which are all the same way. If you hold them up towards yourself and go through them, you can see the first reversed card before the spectators see it. And so now you want to take out, say, 6 black and 5 red, or 6 red and 5 black. And if there are only 3 or 4 black left, 6 hearts and 5 diamonds, or even if you can't do that, 6 courts and 5 spots. Something that you can make something out of separating. I've been lucky. I can do here 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are black. Well, not necessarily 6 and 5. 5 and 4 will do. I'll do that because it's a bit quicker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the rest of the pack you can drop in your pocket. True state of affairs. 5 red on 4 black. You put out the first 2 cards and you ask them to test with their fingertips. Red, 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 red. Or as it might be, heart, 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 or court, 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 court. As the mood takes you. So they choose one. It doesn't matter which they choose, you drop the rest of your packet onto the reject. And then you do a bottom deal and offer them the reject again. And you repeat that. They might choose this one. Bottom deal, ordinary deal. They might choose this one. Each time you try and keep as much attention as possible on the cards over here and away from your hands, though the bottom deal can be done very innocently under those conditions. They choose that one. The last one, you pick up the rejected card and put it on top of the remaining cards in your hand. So now you can turn over and say, well, the cards that I've got left are all 4 black. Would you like to look at the cards that you selected? And they turn over, and they had no chance for it to be anything else but 4 reds. And it makes a follow-up which follows the same sort of plot as brainweave, of finding cards by touch, and the spectator does it, which makes something that can be a follow-up where you yourself couldn't have followed your own trick. The spectator can. That's it. The mathematics of the faro, which were described in expert card technique, irritated me because they really were so elementary. They're sort of based on the idea if there are more cards in the pack, it must need more shuffles to bring it back, which is true in a very general but not in a particular case. And it could be taken so much further than that. Now, I'm not an expert mathematician, but I know the rudiments, and I'm not scared of mathematics. And I think most people stop mathematics long before their ability has run out, because there is a general sort of phobia about mathematics. So I was able to work out the formulae, which I published in the Pentagram, for how many shuffles were necessary for controlling a particular pack. And some things become fairly obvious. For example, that if you've got a card in the top half of the pack and you want to get to the effect of the faro of bringing it to the correct faro position from the top of the pack, double less 1 or whatever it may be, What happens to the rest of the cards doesn't matter. Which cards go in between the card you're controlling and the top don't matter. So you can cut wildly. You don't have to position the two packets regularly. You can just weave them together, and provided the weave is correct between the original top and the card that you're trying to control, that's all that matters. And then you can just cut off the extra cards that you accidentally put on the top afterwards. And ideas of that sort, which in my notes I used to refer to as doing an outshuffle from the top, meaning that you control the position of the card from the top, or an outshuffle from the bottom, controlling how far it was from the bottom, but it doesn't matter which the cards were between the card you were controlling in the bottom or the card you were controlling in the top. It didn't matter which those cards were, provided they were the right number.